Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Extra Time TV. This is Andre and
Kevon Campbell.
And we're doing these live feeds. It's a couple, hours before kickoff. Kevon, I know you're not happy about this. The Champions League has been a rough one for Kevon, who's a Juventus fan. We're going to speak about Real Madrid versus Juventus. Kevon, I hope we could have enough strength to do this. But it didn't go well for Juventus in the first game. Lots of talking points. But let's get Kevon's initial reaction of what Juventus need to do because they were defeated 3-0 in a very, very eventful game. So Kevon, let's hear it.
Sigh. I think Chiellini summed it up best to answer your question because he said that Juve needs to go to Madrid with a healthy dose of madness.
Yes.
And also that, anything can happen. So I think that is a good way to approach the game because, again, 3-0 down, going to an away fixture is no enviable task for any team. And with Juventus missing Dybala, maybe a good thing this wrong, I don't know. But I think that going into the game, Juventus, they would need to actually score early and have a foothold on the game. They need to quiet that crowd and actually make Madrid think. So that can only be done if they score early. But that first leg, Andre, the early goal what killed Juventus in my opinion because that made them, the entire tactic change after that. And what they did is that for the first half, they played really well. I think that was the best Juventus played in a very long time. But it wasn't good enough to beat this Madrid team because in the second half, Madrid, as what they did in the Champions League final, they upped a gear. Yes. And that direct play, that direct passing, sort of reminded me of Manchester United back in the 90s. That style of, okay, you pass long if you need to, but you always find your man. And you go from defense to attack extremely quickly. Yes. And that's what Real Madrid did. And for the second goal, the mishap between Chiellini and Buffon, the Ronaldo spectacle, Andre, I was just stunned. But the way the ball hit the net, I was like, are you for real, man? Yeah. That was my reaction. So I think Juve didn't need to do that. And for Madrid, tactically Zidane, he didn't change much because in the first leg, he played with Benzema, Ronaldo, and Isco behind them. And I think that stifled Juventus because Juventus and Max Allegri in the first leg, I was surprised what he did. He started Rodrigo Bentancur, but it was a 4-4-2, and I personally hated that because having that 4-4-2 meant that Bentancur and Khedira was in the midfield together, but it sort of made Douglas Costa made him defend way too much than he should, and we saw where himself and De Gea got himself in a bit of a tie for that first goal. So Allegri, I don't think he should do that in the second leg. He has Mandzukic and Pjanic and Benatia available this round, so maybe something happened differently.
Yep, I was just as shocked as you were because at certain points in that game, Juventus looked like they were going to take the game. They looked like they were dominating. Yeah. Higuain missed a couple chances. I spoke about it in another video. Just doing his thing. But the ability to finish at this level. We said this about Barcelona and Roma and in the other preview. If you want to check it out up here. This game should not have been like this. I think the scoreline is very deceptive. Cristiano Ronaldo's majestic goal, make no mistake, it was majestic. I felt it for Kevon. I was probably wondering what Kevon was doing when I looked at the game. I saw Buffon's face. It looked completely harmless. It showed an uncharacteristic error from Chiellini in the back there. It was a harmless ball, and the miscommunication. Buffon ran out, and it looked like it was safe. It really looked like it was safe, and 9 out of 10 times you won't be worried because it was not. It was more like it wasn't even a precise cross into the box, and you needed very detailed, what should I say? Not detailed, but amazing athleticism. Yes. If you go online and look at the pictures, in full flight, Ronaldo still passed the defender, and he was already in the air trying to get the ball. So even if they challenge head to head, Ronaldo surpassed him in height. And I don't want to dwell too much on that goal, but it clearly broke Juventus. I agree with you in the setup Allegri used was not ideal. What was his name? Sandro? Is it Sandro? He was too withdrawn, which took away from his strengths. I think he is a player that could run into the opposition box and tear players apart. He is that good. And now they go to Spain, And, Chiellini said, they're going to have to go unleashed. They have to play with no fear. And as we said in our other previews, tactics aside, they have to believe that they could do it.
Yeah.
Because Juventus are a big team. They have a good history in Europe. They are known for coming back from games where it seems as if all hope is lost. They have the ingredients to do well. But in these games, it's been a long time since we've seen Champions League games with such massive gaps. Usually it's very narrow, 2-1s, 1-1s, even 3-1 with a crucial away goal. These games have massive advantages going into them, and that's why it's a bit different from previous years. If you're on neutral, it's exciting because you're getting to see a lot of goals. Juventus are going to have to attack, and just like all the other games, it's a common theme. It sounds like we're repeating ourselves. You're not hearing the same videos, the same thing. Allegri is going to have to pack that midfield and really be clinical. Higuain needs to take those chances when he gets them. There's no Dybala. I thought the second yellow card was a bit harsh, but Kevon, I think it's really tough. And if Allegri needs to play, they have to play with zero fear. And I use an example. Inter Milan played Tottenham back in 2013, I believe. It was a Europa League game, Kevon's favorite tournament. And
Best tournament ever.
Yeah. What? And so Inter Milan lost the game 3-0, I believe. I could be wrong. And I think 4-0. And Inter Milan scored 4 goals. And it looked like, wow, what an amazing comeback. And it was all undone by 1 goal scored by, I don't know if it was Harry Kane or somebody else at the time. Oh, yeah, it was. I can't remember, that's an assignment. I'll check that out. But, it shows that when you have these massive gaps, we see it with Man City now, they have not to just worry about tactics, but to get that balance. And Juventus, I'm going to speak about Chiellini. He's starting to show his age a little bit because when you are going to attack, you are going to expose yourself to a very, very direct, potent Real Madrid attacking team that is not afraid to go straight at you, stretch you apart, which it seems that is their thing. I first saw it when they defeated Atletico Madrid. They just switched it on, and Diego Simeone, to his credit, stifled them for a long period of time. He did it again against Atletico Madrid. Last year against Juventus, I really did not expect that scoreline. I mean, we spoke about Bonucci and so on, but now maybe Real Madrid, we have to start giving them. I underestimated them 3 years in a row. I will not be doing it again. As a Serie A fan, I would love to see Juventus defeat, Real Madrid. But I think it's a leap too far, and it requires impeccable offense and amazing defense for Juventus, which I can't see happening because of the potent counter-attacking style of Real Madrid.
Yeah, and Andre, there's 2 points in Juventus I want to say. When you look at that game last week, that 3-0, I saw Juventus, I was a bit too friendly.
Yeah.
I saw a Buffon, I was wanting to congratulate Ronaldo too much, smiling too much, even in defeat. And when I think back at the Juventus I grew up on, no one was smiling. If you lost, you were angry.
Terrible.
Yeah, you won't go and shake hands, or you won't. No. So that sort of aggression, I think that's what Juventus ethos is all about. And I think this generation, they're a bit nicer and friendlier. And Juventus, they would never outplay a team like Real Madrid, but that grit is what took them through before. I don't think they have that grit now, Chiellini aside. So that, and I think Juventus, each season, they're always rebuilding. Because if you look at the final in 2015, after that, they lost Pirlo, Vidal, and the year after, they lost Tevez, Morata, Pogba. The year after that, which was last year, they lost Bonucci, Alves. So it seems as though every year, Juventus have been rebuilding. And I think that to go forward, you can't be losing such good players each year. And even though they do well to replace them, it's still that knitting in process that has to be undertaken. So I think that they kind of have this here, need to just go on and move forward. They can't start to rebuild again. So I think that those 2 factors are key if Juventus are to, in coming years, be a bit more potent in this stage of the Champions League.
That's actually some very good points. The continuity, to their credit, They have rebuilt squads, but I'm guessing that continuity is hurting them. The fact that the grit, which is something somebody else actually mentioned for another team, that they said generally there's a lack of, I can't remember who it was, but you emphasize the aggression. And they said that's Arsenal's problem right now. They don't have those players. You can't just be friendly. It is a competitive sport. You need that grit. Juventus have been known, Takenadi and those guys I remember, although they are not the most popular players, unless you're a Juventus fan. They had that grit. Arsenal had Adams and those guys, where I think maybe that's grit and steel. I'm not afraid to get stuck in, which I think Chiellini's the only guy I see that kind of has it a bit. Bonucci to extent, but not anymore because he's gone. I think if they had that in the final against Real Madrid last year, because it was close, and that is a team that has no business conceding 4 goals. I mean, for people who are casual fans looking at the game, but people look at Juventus, that was a very strong team, very strong. I think if they had that aggression, and I think they're missing that now, and they're going to have to use it now. And I did notice, now that you pointed it out, that there was a bit of wrist slapping and hey, how are you, and smiling and whatever. But maybe, and this may be a bit crazy, but maybe Buffon, being the legend that he is, just like Casillas at Real Madrid, his time has come. And they need fresh, new, hungry guys who, epitomize. Make no mistake, I love Buffon still. But, maybe he's that guy that needs to make way for a younger goalkeeper now to be that new leader. Not now, but, next year.
I think the whole ethos about that, being an elder statesman, he has to be professional and respectable towards his teammates and his opposition.
And there are some limitations as a result.
Yeah, so I agree with you with that.
Yeah. So, Kevon, how do you think this game is going to turn out?
Difficult. I see something like a 1-1, honestly, and that means GB will be out. I can't see Juventus scoring 4 unanswered goals at the Bernabeu. If it happens, yay me, but if not, then yeah.
Yeah, I think based on what I've seen in the first game, it's a team that's not in great shape in the Champions League. They seem to have oddly nerves in big games, which is something you don't really associate with Juventus. And I think that's going to be their undoing. They're going to give it a good fight, typical Juventus style. I think they're going to score, but I think the gap is just too big, and it's set perfectly up for Real Madrid to capitalize. Unless they have the perfectly balanced game. Look at Deportivo versus AC Milan many years ago. Look at that game. If they could do that, which is very difficult to do, they have a chance. Every team always has a chance, let's be real, if you want to be safe. But I think it's a hurdle too high. And in all the previews before, I think in all the games, this is why you have to make sure and get good results in your first legs. And usually 2-0 is like a big gap. All these games, including Juventus, is just a leap too far. And I'm sorry, I think the old lady is out of this competition, Kevon.
Yeah.